we are on chapter 13, which is prepared. It breaks down to the deep dive survey. I tell you, I've read through this, and most of this is an Excel formula,
Mm.
and that's why it seems complicated. I mean, raise your hand if you know how to use Excel.
Nobody knows how to use Excel.
Right?
I used to.
Well, I can open it and do stuff but can you program the formulas and stuff in there?
I can do pivot tables, so that would be, yeah.
Okay, so then you're in charge of creating us a template then.
Oh.
I'm just playing. I mean, that's what this is like if it has the phone number. What this doing is out of all that data, it's helping you categorize the main data points.
Yes, and you have to have somebody look at all three.
So like column AF is LEN, and in this column we use MS Excel formula called length to calculate the number of characters. A person with a length that obviously replied a longer reply instead of my back hurts, but told you the whole story of why their back hurts. They took the time to type it out. They're going to be more likely to buy on the first survey. So your formula, what that's going to do is push them into. They have a phone number. There's a formula that applies 0 and 1. If the 0, it grades on a point system. So if they had like a lengthy answer, that's 1 point. If they had a phone number, it's 2 points. If they answered their niche, it's 3 points. And at the end of the day, it helps you sort out the people by the data points.
Is that what he was talking about when he was saying the hyper-responsive person or something like that?
Yes. And to be very frank with you, I'm pretty sure that like SurveyMonkey and all this does this for you now.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like this.
Just to be very frank, I have never done this with surveys. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It just this seems like rocket science to me.
It seems like a long way around.
It really does.
Not that I know the short way. I'm just
Full-time versus day job. But I mean, at the end of the day, if this formula right here gleaned you the information on your perfect customer, it'd be incredibly profitable. So I mean, I think we should try to do it. But I mean, I'm being 100% with you. I read the chapter twice. Most of what I can tell you the segmentation, the reason for the segmentation, but most of what I read on here was really just operating an Excel spreadsheet. And I'm not very familiar with Excel, unfortunately.
Well, I just signed up with Survey Gizmo yesterday, so I kind of took his advice. So I'm going to play. It's the free version, so I'm going to play around with that.
Yeah, when was this book written, too?
I want to say.
Copyright 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. So not that long ago.
No, it wasn't too long ago. About the same time old boy got indicted. So, but
what he's saying is too, and he keeps making a reference to your competition. He said that they have a top surface type, information on their clients where you're going to have a deep understanding.
Yeah, I really see the value in this because it really shows exactly what you should be saying in marketing. Just based on, if you read whoever those top scoring ones are.
Mm-hmm. Well,
how hard could it be?
Well, I don't think it's too hard, but my main thing is I'm sitting here looking at his actual information course about the Ask method.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm looking at the Ask method 2.0 too, and there's nothing about this in either one of them.
There's
nothing about this. Here's to prepare. Bonus training, phone interviews, DDS landing page copy, how to FSOF, launching your DDS, do your list, examples. Maybe that's what this is. Hold on, let me mute this.
Rolling Stone.
Yeah, when I saw this, that's when I started to get worried.
What do you mean?
When I saw the spreadsheet, I was like, oh no. Yeah. Now it's getting
I would really like to try this though. I've never done this. I would really like to try this.
I'm gonna try it.
Are you going to? You guys should.
I use Apple's competitor to Excel, but I mean it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it. Yeah. Other people do it, so we can do it.
Okay, I have a breakdown in the demo of the spreadsheet if you guys would like that.
Okay.
Let me put that
Yeah.
in. And I'm going to try to put a video, screen share a video. I don't know if it will let me do it, the latency on here will let me do it. So 5 a.m. book club. Come on, where are you at? There it is. It's not the 5 a.m. book club. So what was your guys' thoughts on this? I mean, I feel like I'm really letting you down on this. I mean, I can tell you a theory behind it, but it's just how to move on the spreadsheets.
Well, it's not your fault. You didn't write it.
I mean, you do understand what he's trying to accomplish, though. I mean, he's just really trying to segment his data points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I can see how he can say that, and he gave the example. We kind of talked about it yesterday about this one niche that was really 64 years old, and they were already 8-figure business, but then they thought their audience was around the 50 mark, but as soon as they found out that it was 64 just by basically asking them, then they started creating like the Rolling Stones playing something in the Mustang photos, and they really hit home with that audience. So it's kind of like, what I like about the deep dive survey is that it just takes the guesswork out of it. Because right now, even though we would think that we kind of know our audience now, but we would have a wide range, I think, as far as what we actually think the actual age is, because it would be all guesswork.
I'll tell you where I think this is valuable is for, because most of us in this room actually follow up personally with leads. So this would tell you which lead to start with.
Right.
And because you just start with the highest scoring lead and jump on that. And,
Well,
then you know that those are the ones that you're more likely to be able to get somewhere with.
Well, then it could even help
Save
too.
a lot of time. If you have to get on the phone with people, you know who to pick up the phone and call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with like Facebook ads too, like not even Facebook ads. Well, I guess with that too, like even with if your age range of your audience was like 21 to say, I don't know, 30, 35, and they were mostly all male, if you did a Facebook post and you had, a female, playing the violin and female running and female this, after a while, your audience will probably be like, who the heck is he talking to?
Yeah.
He's talking to females. So that's what I can see this survey really helping. It's just kind of like, wow, this is mostly males from 21 to 35, so I need to have pictures of dudes in the gym working out, or it's really about speaking directly to your avatar. That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah. Yeah, and you might find out your avatar is not who you thought it was.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like Chuck, with you guys with real estate, would you say right now, what is your demographic?
Age-wise, or
Yeah.
Well, anything, because I mean, like, would you say, like, let me just throw something at you, whatever. Like, is it predominantly African Americans? Is it mixed? Is it mostly?
no, we don't work in that part of town.
see, that's information.
Of course,
Just,
not for courts. What I just said is illegal to say.
no, it's not illegal here. It's good. You're not going to get fired or anything. But no, it's
Violated federal fair housing.
Bye, Chuck. It was nice to see you.
Right, you rebel.
I don't
But
know,
no.
man. Nowadays, you can't even joke about that kind of stuff.
Dude,
Yeah,
no, you can't. No, you
that
can't.
is true. That is true.
All right, I'm gonna be the lazy substitute teacher and play you guys a video.
Okay.
Great.
I love substitute teachers.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh my God. You
A
guys are
bucket
funny.
workshop. Sounds good for me. Buckets, yes.
Tyler, Kevin, and Ron.
Can you actually hear it and see it?
Yeah.
I'll go on mute.
Daniel and Leanne, and John. Who
Oh, Ryan. There he is.
He's cute.
And what I'd like to do is, and if anybody else completed the homework, what I'd like to do is we'll go one by one, and I'd like for you to just kind of volunteer what are the biggest takeaways, the biggest breakthroughs, the biggest observations that you had in your data. And Corey, I'd like to have the homework, you pull that up. Right. And they're only right answers. They're only right answers. And the reason why I want to go through this and spend a few minutes publicly to go through this is when you hear the observations that people have and aha moments in other markets, it's going to help you appreciate what you should be paying attention for in your data. And then I've got some actual observations that I'd like to bring up for each of you in case there are things that you didn't pick up on, including a few that I'm pretty certain no one would have picked up on, a few statistical concepts that I want to talk about. So anyone want to go first? Do the first one to break the silence? You guys want to go first? Awesome, yeah. You want to pull up Tyler's homework? Yeah, so Ron, why don't you bring the microphone?
Bucket workshop.
Hustle, come on. You're going to be finished last in this tough mutter. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So, yeah, Tyler, what were some of the things that you guys picked up on?
So I guess we were under the impression that our
Is that audio on the? Does it need to be turned on? It's on.
We were under the impression that most of the people going through our products were at a more advanced level than and actually struggling to just begin with us that they're too advanced for it. So we're dealing more with people with injuries and ailments that we were continuing to go around. Yeah, I'm not sure. And we kind of thought it was closer to male-female being almost 50-50, but we came to the conclusion it's more 60-40 female.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Great. When you looked at the demographic differences between your hyper-responsives and non-hyper-responsives, was there anything that stood out?
Hyper. There it is again.
in terms of female, male, or
Just anything, any observations that stood out, any differences in the type of questions that they asked?
I felt like there was a lot more, to be honest, I didn't go heavily into non-hyper. I spent a lot of time going through all the, we had quite a few responses.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So what I'd invite you to consider is to do the tag cloud exercise and do it for both segments. So look at the tag cloud of your hypers and the tag cloud of your non-hypers. Look at them side by side and see the differences in the type of language that they're using. And obviously you're going to want to use the language that your hypers are using and avoid using the language that your non-hypers are using. So that's the first thing. Second thing, yeah, demographics, absolutely. So your hypers skew older and more female than your non-hyper responsives. So when you're thinking about building your customer avatar and you're thinking about images in your ads, examples to use, the type of weight lifting, you want to think, what is a woman in her late 50s, maybe early 60s, what type of exercises is she going to relate to, right? Versus a man in his 40s might be completely different. So those are some of the observations. The other thing that I want to introduce is this is a super advanced statistical concept, and it's not something that I talk about in the book because it would make people's heads explode. But I'll bring it up here. It's a process known as cluster analysis.
Really?
Knows, Jack, your staff geek, you guys. Does anyone know what cluster analysis is?
Wow.
Jack, do you want to explain what cluster analysis? Bring the mic over.
Why'd you say wow, Sean?
Whatever gaps and anything like that.
Because that's an information security technique.
A lot of raw data. You tend to have pieces of information that cluster around one another. And cluster analysis identifies how that data clusters, how the clusters relate to one another, and how they relate to the whole.
Right, exactly. So I'll just to make it concrete, and I'll explain how you guys should consider executing cluster analysis, and basically everybody in this room do this as well. So go back to is there on the hyper tab for a moment? Okay, scroll up and go to to the right, I believe, where the 3 categories are. Okay, great. So it's one thing to know what a person's category is, right? But there's a reason why we do at least 3 categories for open-ended response. And the reason is because people give these long, great answers, and oftentimes they're in multiple categories, right? The question is, what's the interplay between those categories? So when someone says they like chocolate, do they also tend to say that they like steak? Or when they say vanilla, do they also tend to say that they like chicken? So it's the interplay between the categories, which is where the real insights come from. And what you'll find is through cluster analysis that there are these groups that emerge. Groups that this variable with this variable and this variable are often seen together, okay? So in your market, go to the category tab for a second. I haven't run the cluster analysis. I'll explain how to actually do this tactically. We're not going to go through it today. I'm going to explain like how to have someone do it for you. Either basically need a master's or PhD in statistics to do this well. So maybe, for example, working with injury people also say, scroll to the right, find an example, a little bit more, going, are depressed. Maybe. And if you know that those 2 variables have an interaction, that they're often linked, well, then you know that that is a segment you want to talk about. And those buckets that seemingly appear to be 2 different buckets are actually one and the same. They are, example, working with injury people tend to be depressed.
Pocket protectors.
And so when you're describing that bucket, you're combining those 2 variables together.
I forgot that was
Cluster
a
analysis
thing.
also helps you identify, well, when someone says they're depressed, they're almost never in this category. So it's how dissimilar are the buckets, the clustered buckets from one another. Okay?
He went to Brown University, didn't he?
Any
I
questions?
think he said that in the book.
Okay. So how do you get this done? Yeah, please, Corey.
You can talk that emotional depth with your audience, and you feel like you understand them anyone else. Because no one else has picked up on the fact that maybe they are feeling depression as they go when they're in the state in their life.
Right.
It just gives you an incredible power to write a copy and really build a bond with your audience. And
This is 3 levels deep. This is where the rest of the market says, they need motivation help. Great. That's like surface level. What's that? Yeah, it's surface market. And this is where we say, the motivation is what seems on the surface, but we really know what's going on. We know that that motivation is accompanied by these 3 other things. And that's when people say, oh, fucking shit. It's like, my entire life. Now, the question, do you have a question, Jack?
The thing about cluster analysis that's so important is it seems obvious to do the similar clusters to statistically relate one cluster and how it relates positively to another.
Right.
The most important thing, though, is the opposite.
Right.
If you can identify a cluster that is the opposite, that really helps with your languaging.
Right. So what you're saying there is groups that are completely dissimilar from one another. Like, for example, maybe men tend to be working with working with injury, and women tend to have limited time. So when you're talking about limited time, you're always giving female examples. When you're talking about working with injury, you're always talking about men, but never women, because women, those 2 variables are never found together. Okay? So how do you do this? I can get this done.
This is going to be a
All
cluster.
right, you're all in detention.
Like SPSS. Do this and do this stuff. For that,
I think we're gonna make 20 minutes on this. So.
No. You know what's so funny? Did everyone see the demographic that was in the classroom of the students that were actually there for that? Because I'm sure they had to probably pay to be there. I didn't see any young dudes. I just saw like some older guys.
No, there was young guys.
Yeah, they were.
Early 50s.
Well, I mean, older.
I guess that's all subjective because I thought they were all young.
I thought they were all young.
I seen a bunch of nerds.
No, they're not. The man that was explaining what a cluster is was he had long, old hair. I mean, gray hair.
Yeah.
He said, "Look, over here."
To answer
Yeah.
your question on the cluster analysis is often used in information security as far as like identifying threats and probes, because that way, like something tries to do like a DOS or an SQL injection. A lot of times they'll it's I can't believe that's the exact same science. This is really kind of interesting. I really want to dig into this.
I don't.
English, first of all. English to me.
I understand what every one of those things are.
You know what's so funny?
No,
This is why people hire market agencies.
Oh, this is exactly why. But this is like Coca-Cola, Pepsi level right here.
What do you mean by Coca-Cola, Pepsi level?
Like, this is multi-million-dollar campaigns and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
As far as
most
the
definitely.
results.
Most definitely.
But I think we could proceed without that. But
Yeah, I definitely do.
but with it, you're going to increase your revenues exponentially.
Right, but you could also spend 6 months trying to figure out how to do this too.
Well, yeah, there's that. Or could just hire someone that does know how to do it.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be. It's probably one of those things that you just start off with maybe a few questions. It takes some time, I think, to really, really build, to where you want to be with this. I believe.
I think you're right, because we're not going to just jump in and be doing, Fortune 500 level marketing.
No.
But I can really see the value in this.
He just doesn't seem like, I know he was the nerdy type. From the outer side, he doesn't really look like you're the pocket protector guy. But like,
Oh, dude, that dude's a step away from having tape on his glasses.
oh, he is. Once you hear him speak and hear what he's describing, especially in that classroom, he's totally that guy.
Yeah.
He's really cute, though.
Yeah, I agree, Pat.
That's what she said. Yeah. But no, he also says too, and here's what I was trying to look at some of these open-ended questions he was asking. Let me see.
Did
He
you
said-
did you guys, oh, sorry.
No, so what you got to say, Veronica?
Oh, no, is it just me or his style of teaching is a little bit slow? Like,
Yes.
okay.
He is not. I saw some nervousness. I don't think he's really used to talking to the public. I think he is the guy that's really, really comfortable behind the computer.
Yeah, he was
I
very
thought.
Yeah, that may be.
I totally
Okay.
agree.
Okay.
Yeah,
But he's still cute. Okay.
because I was heard him. He cracked his joke about, "Come on, guys, you guys, like what do you say? You guys would have been last in the Tough Mudder." Because I just sit. This is a guy that learned learned Mandarin. He's definitely not a slacker when it comes to the book.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh my God, that's right.
So are we going to attempt to do this?
Yeah.
Because if not, we might as well move to the next book, because the rest of the book gleans off the data that you get from it.
Really?
Yeah, I am, at least. I'm slowly starting to get into this. Like I said, I purchased Survey Gizmo. But I want to ask this hyper-responsive thing, because he mentions this. Is basically what he's saying is a hyper-responsive person is a person that answers the survey and the other one doesn't?
No, everybody that has data on there answered the survey. But the point is to separate the people that seem like they fit profiles that they're more likely to buy. So
More likely to buy.
someone that gives you their phone number. Someone's like, what's your biggest fear? And someone says, well, I fear spiders. That's not a very hyper responsive answer. Someone that says, you know, I really don't like spiders. Heights scare me. You know, dying alone scares me. The dark scares me. Dust monsters from Mars scares me. They type all this out. That's a more hyper responsive buyer.
Yeah.
Because
So-
the more they interact with the survey, the higher their hyper responsiveness is.
Because he actually says, like, you don't offer a gift. He said, give them a solution. We want hyper responsive. So in an example, that would be a 40% off discount off the product. So a hyper responsive person will respond more to that
Mhm.
versus the gift. So, and he says that once you have that hyper responsive person, that's what all your guns should be pointing toward, that hyper responsive person.
Right. Which the traditional, I mean, an even good way to do this, a lot of people just don't go get this in depth. A lot of people, what they'll do is, as we talked about, we create several customer buyer personas. Then and then, you know, did you ever used to hear, like, a lot of the big time, you know, on your cold traffic, you're not really supposed to make any money on your ad campaigns. You're actually doing well if you break even.
Yep, I agree with that.
And that's kind of the key to this. This is so you don't have to break even. You can actually be profitable on your cold traffic. But a lot of people just don't get this in depth. And what they do is they kind of spray and pray in the very beginning. And then they put out 10 different campaigns to 10 different personas. 2 of those campaigns glean positive results. You shut down the other 8 campaigns, and then you scale those 2 campaigns.
Yeah. You know, I think yesterday you asked the question, son, about something about a survey. Is something about being ugly in the beginning, and I really got down to the nitty gritty when he gave an example. Like if somebody was to call you on the phone, and let's say it was a telemarketer, and they barely could speak English, and they said hello, you know, or whatever, and just I did a bad accent, but hello, you know, here's such if you don't recognize it right away, you're gonna just hang up the phone. But then he says, if there was a doctor who was calling to give you some results, and you know he messed up your name in the beginning, or he said something, and you figured out that, hey, this is the doc that's going to be more, you know, that's going to give me some results, you will be more patient with that person because you're waiting on the information.
Right.
So I guess he was using that to say that it doesn't have to be pretty in the beginning, because this information that you're going to be, you know, these questions are something that they're asking you, you know, that they're very important for you or something like that.
Right. And I mean, also too, you put a lot, if you get, you know, if the survey is real snazzy and has a lot of images and stuff like that, I think subconsciously we all know that they want something from us. If there's a lot of effort that gets put into the survey, like what's the real info here? Where opposed, if it's just a basic survey, you know, like you said, it's ugly, it's gonna that barrier is not necessarily going to go up.
Yeah, the place where I'm having some difficulty is that I kind of feel like putting the cart before the horse in the book, because we haven't really gotten into how to collect the data in a lot of detail. Or did I just miss that?
Or do you mean like what questions to ask?
Yeah, like what questions to ask, and
well, without
making it look like a giant form.
In the master class, he actually has some templates for emails for this. So I'm thinking you're broadcasting this to an existing list.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll look that over, because maybe that's where I'm not.
I didn't really understand that either. I was kind of wondering, like, do you run cold traffic campaigns to the survey?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what I mean? They just
right, because I'm like, okay, so he's got all this collected data, but really say, you know, how the data was collected.
Right.
Well, I can't
Yeah,
remember
man.
what the first question was, but the second and third question he actually mentions. He says, "Which of the following best describes you?" And then one of the choices was, "My internet business is my full-time income." And then the next question was, "I have a separate day job."
hmm
So when I saw those two options, I asked myself, okay, what's the difference? So if a person says my internet business is my full-time income, are they saying that they're a much higher level person versus somebody that just has a separate day job and does it part-time?
Well, it depends on what you're selling.
Well, even
Like
to get
for
a little,
you, the person that has a day job would be a better prospect because they got a day job and they probably wish they didn't.
yeah. So that would be a separate bucket. So I would
So
have
those
to
people
talk.
would get tagged. You'd be like, all right, I'm going to start with those people.
Yeah, but and see that's where I'm going with this, Chuck. So that right there is a separate bucket. So the next email for that person, if they pick the I have a separate day job, is maybe I could have a post saying how to leave your day job
Right.
because they just let me know that I have a day job. I'm not a full-time person.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking to the person who just told me that they have a full-time income from, from the internet, talking to that person about leaving their day job wouldn't mean much because, like,
No.
dude, I already left my day job. I have a full-time income. I told you the information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be wanting to ask, talk to them about taking their business to the next level.
Yeah. See, and that example just right there shows you how important this is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I start talking to this guy who's a full-time internet marketer about leaving his day job, I've lost him.
Well, yeah, you just lost him right then, and he'll never listen to anything you ever say,
Yeah, because I'm not talking to him.
even though you might have something to offer him.
Exactly. So once I get that information of here's a guy that's in the full-time internet business, that's that bucket right there. So what would be the next email for that guy? I would guess that an email for him would be something like, so maybe the business that you're doing, maybe he's in an MLM and he's escaped his job, but he still doesn't like the MLM. Maybe he doesn't see the longevity in that.
Uh-huh.
Maybe, and so maybe you don't like the current business that you're in. That would be another email for him once I found out that information.
Yeah, maybe they want to be in a business that they created.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Or how to reach more clients in your current business.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is a perfect example of the bucket of talking directly to the person that has answered the survey. They just identified who they are.
Uh-huh.
Just like if you guys, Chuck, if you guys were saying like, how to buy your first home. If you said how to buy your first home to a person that's already bought 2-3 homes, you're not talking to a person who's how to buy your first home.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I could see in for example, what your bucket is, have you bought your the first home buyers are in a whole different bucket. You got to have beginning emails with them. The second person is like, are you ready to sell your home? Here are some tips. Here are some emails. Here's of course on how to get the most for your home or whatever. And then number 3, whatever the third bucket is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very nerdy stuff, but at the same time, it just helps you. I could see the person on the other side like, I feel like this guy's speaking directly to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're doing this manually anyway, and I think most people do. Everybody segments their database somehow. Whether it's friends and family and people at work, or like with us, we've got a ton of categories that kind of break people down into just when we put type in the data for a new person that we meet.
Mhm.
We're going to put them in. They're going to be a buyer. They're going to be a seller, or they're going to be an A, B, or C prospect. And
Maybe
Yeah.
on a weekend, on a Saturday, we can help each other by going over.
no, Saturday we're doing something else.
Well, I know
We're going to stick with that.
I know for now we're going to do
Oh,
that.
you're talking about from now, later on after we get done with the
Later
webinar.
on, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
help each other with this, help each other with doing each other's surveys.
Yeah.
Well, and I agree, Pat, because, really be honest, it sounds very complicated, but really I think it's very easy because think about it. A person that's a first home buyer, the questions that they have here in 2017, they probably will have those same questions in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I love the idea of helping each other with the surveys. I mean, taking our own surveys, right, Pat? Taking each other's surveys is what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying assisting each other with writing out the surveys.
Okay.
Helping each other
Yeah.
write out our surveys.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we could help each other create them.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Joel, I jumped right on top of you. I just.
Oh no! That's important. Because here's the thing: writing the questions out are good, but then also the emails that you send right after those questions that you could just literally plan inside your the email campaign. They're going to be the same thing. Like the same question you asked the person in 2017, you will ask in 2027.
Yeah. Wow.
Why? So everyone was, the first email could be for a person who just bought a home for the first time. Everyone was nervous when I bought a home. Maybe you could have a video or even an email of the time when you bought your home for the first time. Because everybody in here at one time was a first-time home buyer.
Mhm.
That's the first email 10 years from now.
Yeah. And there's a lot of upfront work to this, but once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's automated to a large degree.
And it's
Yeah.
interesting, when I bought my first home, which was 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, shut up.
I was buying my first car.
He just graduated high school or something.
I was 5.
Yeah, I love you all.
But
Interest rates were almost 18%. So there's a
Yep.
scope there because
Back in my day.
back in 90, no, interest rates were like, even if it went up like an eighth or 1/4%. I mean, I remember, getting a phone call from, I guess it was the lender, and I wasn't the driver, and I was the passenger. And I remember having to pull over in Queens, New York, and getting out and having to go into it's called the bodega, which is like a little Spanish store,
yeah.
and having to get change for a phone, because of course no one had cell phones back then.
This really is a back in my day
This
story.
is a story. And the guy in the bodega wouldn't give me change. No, you have to buy. So I was this is a true New York story. He had like some kind of a roll sitting there. So I bought the roll, whatever it was, I don't know, 35 cents or whatever it was. I gave him the $1 because it was like a 1/4 for the phone call. And I got the roll and I squished it in my hand and I slammed it on the counter. That was a Pat McGlinchey story there for you in 1984. I was
Wow.
a crazy person because
But
the rate had just gone up like, I don't know, an eighth or whatever it was. But if the house was like, I don't know, 260,000 or whatever.
Is this story about data segmentation?
This is about, it is. It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, it is, because you have to know your audience and how things can affect them.
Some
Well,
people
that's-
can squeeze your roll.
Well, Pat, let me tell you what I got from that story. What I got from that story, Pat, was it was harder back then to buy a house for a first-time buyer than it is now. So you guys have nothing to worry about.
That is the story right there.
Yeah, it's never been easier to
It's
buy a
never
house.
been easier because interest rates are no more than 4.25%, whatever percent.
You can't afford not to buy
You
a
cannot,
house.
you cannot afford not to buy a house right now.
Yeah, that's your first email.
That's right.
And
I
I could,
won't include the squeezing of the roll, but
well, no, that
Looking for first
it made the story came alive. So if I'm a first-time home buyer, I'm sitting here thinking like, you know what? If I'm a little nervous about buying a home for the first time, I could probably reach out to these guys
Mhm.
because
You should be.
they've been through it.
yeah. But we're not looking for first-time home buyers. That's not our avatar.
Ah, okay. Well, see, now if this is a first-time home buyer, maybe you could have a course for that person, or maybe you could, maybe they know someone else. But at least you wouldn't be trying to waste your time
Right.
with a person that's a first-time home buyer. So
Right.
even that information is
Yeah.
important.
It's a bomb video,
That's
Kat.
true.
You know, that story is awesome. It's a bomb. It's a
All right, I
bomb.
won't include about the roll though.
No, it's a
No, but that is all that.
Very cool.
I visualize that.
That was the only good part.
That was the only good part. Okay. Oh God, I was
Yeah.
so upset. He made me buy something. I was just like fit to be tied. That's
No, you
like a
should-
true
you
New
should
York
tell
story when
him.
they say, no, you must buy. I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm going to buy something and I'm going to squeeze it right in front of your damn face and then
Yeah.
slam it on the counter.
Well,
No, let's make it a story, and it also tells the buyers that you will stand for them, because if somebody will be on their way, you'll squeeze the hell out of them.
yeah.
That's right.
So once you guys find if a person's a home time buyer, that's kind of like wasting your time, right?
No. He
No,
just
wait.
reminded me.
I just reminded Pat, that, look, we don't personally do it, but we have somebody in our office that does, and we
refer it.
we let them take care of them.
Yeah.
Ah,
We have a colleague that specializes in first timers.
okay. See, I think all that information is good to know because
So with those people, we get them set up with him, and then he takes real good care of them.
do you get a commission?
Yeah,
We get
Oh.
a referral fee.
See, that's extra money.
exactly.
You drove them in the right bucket, and now you say, hey, I have a perfect client for you because I've been doing Facebook Live videos, I've been doing YouTube videos, I've been doing Facebook ads, and I've driven that traffic my direction. It's just in that bucket in the first-time home buyer, I'm going to pass this on the client to you. And that guy is like, how do you guys keep getting these first-time home buyers? Oh, we just have a strategy that we do. But we get it. Just give us a commission when you sell them a home.
That's right.
No, it's making sense to me more now the second time, because this was really some brainy stuff, and then I joined his mastermind group, and then now 2-3 years later, I'm like, okay, now it's starting to make a little sense.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I think for me, I need to sit down with a piece of paper and draw it out.
I do
Yep.
too, Chuck. I absolutely have to.
That's how I understand things. If
Yeah.
I can sit down and kind of draw it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. That will help.
So I got a little homework to do on this to kind of get it straight to my
Me
brain.
too. And I
But
thank
Sarah-
you, Sean, for being brave enough to take this one on this morning, because that is tricky to lead on that chapter.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you were doing it, Sean.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I could look like I was the one that didn't know what he's doing. I can handle that. I got no
We're the
problem.
only one smart enough for it. We'll just
Yeah.
we'll just say
Don't
that.
But it,
Uh,
Mhm.
I
But
just
Sarah,
didn't know I was going to have to learn how to use Excel to do this.
Yeah.
I've been fighting that since high school, and I'm going to continue that fight.
Oh man, you could do this same thing in SQL.
Really? I think so.
Yeah, I know so.
Who just left? Terrell? Oh.
I mean, I couldn't
Yeah,
do it in SQL, but I mean, actually, I think SQL would be a better thing. It's just that, when he's writing the book, he knew that only Pocket Protector people know how to do that.
Right. I forgot all about those. Thank you. That made my day.
And just for the record, I'm not implying that I know a damn thing about it. I just know that
You
it
had
exists.
one. Don't even say.
I can see you with the pocket protector.
Oh, hell no.
Just playing.
I don't even wear shirts with a pocket most of the time.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I wonder if they even still sell
I have
those.
a pen in my pocket and business cards in my pocket.
That's true.
I'm a salesman, not a smart person.
Pocket protector.
So I think
Pocket protectors are used for pens, so that pen in your pocket is perfect.
That's right.
so it sounds like we just supposed to have maybe 3 buckets. That's a good a good.
Yeah, I think, I think you could overcomplicate this very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could get your ADD brain spinning on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
Sean, is it hard to be a genius?
Yeah, sometimes.
I bet.
I could tell that Sean, you do a lot of offline work, meaning like you probably do a lot of alone time studying, because the average Joe probably couldn't hang with you with the things that you're into.
This is what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Sean, I get why you think a lot of people are stupid now.
I don't think a lot of people are stupid.
Yes, you do. Come on.
That's what you say when you talk about the people in the groups. Not our group, but I'm talking about in those high-tech groups.
I don't think that they're stupid. I apologize, but I just think they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I had it wrong. They're not stupid. They're just dumb. Okay.
They're just full of shit. Here's the difference, okay? I mean, if you don't know something, it's okay not to know it. We just live in an age, or maybe it's always been like that, and I just never realized it, where it's like it's not cool to be the expert anymore. You don't want to be the person that asks the question. It seems like people think it's better to come in and give a bullshit answer than to say I don't know the answer and go actually spend some time to go look for it.
Pride,
I see
man.
what you're saying.
Pride.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what it's always been. But you post something in these groups anymore, and you got 15 people come answer you and tell you what this, and if you're lucky, they might have been doing it for 2 weeks. You know.
Before I forget, Cliff and Donna are joining the book club on Monday.
Who is?
Cliff and, who is that?
Cliff and Donna.
Cliff and Donna.
Oh, really?
These are your friends?
Oh, I like them.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a high-powered couple.
She sent me a message yesterday saying, by the way, we're ready to join the book club, the 5 a.m.
I can't believe it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
She's already up right now. It's just, she's thinking just like I thought in the beginning. I got to get up and put on my face. Put on my makeup, all of that craziness. But
Did I really give off the impression I thought all these people were stupid?
No.
no. You just thought they were full of shit.
That I will
You
agree.
just thought they were bullshitters.
I don't
And so,
ever
to me,
at all.
if you're a bullshitter, you're stupid. So I just agree
Well,
with you.
yeah, that's for sure.
Getting sarcastic with you.
Mm.
I want to make sure. I don't ever want to, because, you know what I mean?
I like your sarcasm, Yolanda.
Yeah,
I really do.
it's great.
Please don't let my hubby hear you say I got some sarcasm. Oh my God. CJ's second language is sarcasm. So when he hear me being sarcastic, it's like, oh, no, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, now you listen to the master.
I'm going to work on my 3 buckets on this. I'm just going to take it step by step, baby step by baby step with this.
Yeah.
I'm about to
So I have
read
a question, and this is what's getting to me right now. My question is this. So we've read since the .com series, right? We've read maybe one additional motivational book, and then everything else has been on marketing and sales of our business. How many of those things have we implemented, any of you?
I've implemented bits and pieces of them on a daily basis.
I'd say about 50 on mine. 50%.
Little tiny pieces of it, not whole program.
Yeah, little tiny pieces.
Because I think that's the value of this, because there's no way we're going to take every book like this and go, all right, I'm going to implement this thing exactly the way it is in the book.
No, because it's too nerdy information.
Pieces of it and, kind of apply that to whatever it is that we're doing to improve our own processes.
Like right now, like on the Saturday, whoever wants to join,
Oh yeah, with the webinar.
We're working on the webinar.
We're making some progress with that too. Like Chuck, you probably made more progress than anybody on the
Right.
webinar piece.
Well, I think you made a huge amount of progress last week.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think it's only because that's only happening because I know on Saturday, you're like, look, I got to show up with something. So it
Absolutely. Just
forces
take
me.
the damn compliment.
Well, that's a good thing about it because I think like, oh shit, man, tomorrow's Friday. I better get on that thing.
Yeah.
Look the same as last Saturday.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Get something accomplished.
yeah, once it's
I'm
once
only
it's
answering
done,
that
it's done.
question because I see the same thing. I have all, and I still think about all those ideas and all of those ways to implement or, try to implement all those things. And I cannot imagine doing it. So I just have to hire somebody.
But it's what Pat is saying too, though. I think Saturday is a good day for that because if you're spending Monday through Friday just like consuming information.
Saturday is not a good day for me.
Oh, Saturday's not a good day for you.
Good day. But, for the webinar portion, I need to implement, like I should be in that Saturday class for sure.
You should.
No matter what, because for my Manifest Your Vision now, I have to have that done. I need a webinar ASAP, actually.
Yeah. Hey,
So
I think that's telling you that. So Saturday you can't be there because of the time. Is that what it is?
right. I have for the rest of the year anyway. I'm booked Saturday morning.
Wow.
Oh, got
I
it.
may have one Saturday that I'm not booking. I think we're trying to go on a quick vacation, me and CJ.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
But if I do get booked that Saturday, vacation is over. I'm not going.
Wow.
I got you.
And so is CJ. Look, I'm preparing my little mind not to see my hubby for a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah,
What do you
he's
mean?
got
Holiday.
a lot of events this time of year.
Yeah, he only got 3 hours sleep one of these days over here last week.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Working
I
a lot of
got
hours.
CJ's got a major work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's phenomenal.
Yep.
He's
Yeah,
definitely the
I can see that.
technician.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is not afraid to work.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So CJ's double booked on Friday, tomorrow, the 3rd. He's triple booked, actually. So having to go find, contractors to get the job done, I said, look at this. You just got, all these people working for you and you don't have to go to work. Stay home.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but I'm going to go work this one and then we only need 2 contractors for these other 2 jobs, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, okay, he's not getting it yet. But okay, sure.
Wow, that's
Busy.
great.
Yeah. Okay.
Great,
Well,
but, it's supposed to be, we're supposed to be reinventing ourselves, not, or duplicating ourselves.
Well, he triplicated himself.
Yeah.
I don't think CJ would have been able to do that a year ago.
Mm.
What do you mean?
To have the confidence to go ahead and hire someone to take his place in one of these.
Right. Right. Oh yeah.
I don't think he would have,
Relinquish control.
but mentally been able to do
Yeah.
that, to turn loose of something like that.
Mhm.
Eventually,
true.
if we keep hitting that rock, eventually it's gonna break. So I can't.
Yeah. I think that's a really huge deal for CJ because
I agree.
that's taken a step going from a technician into a manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You're right about that.
Sure.
I didn't think about that.
That's great. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a milestone right there.
Just let you know how you can change over time.
Yeah. He's building a business.
Yeah. Or even just a step of talking to the people at his job about his business or somebody. I think he was, those are small steps, but they're big steps.
Well, Wing Pow's been his customer since 2004.
Wing
for
Pow.
video, they've been his customer since 2004. But there's more business there that he haven't gone after. So now, he's going after it. So if they have like 17 locations that all need the same exact thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think the day's going to come where he's not going to have time for his day job anymore.
Yep.
That day is already here, but yeah, look, yeah,
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough thing.
Sure is.
you got, when we talked about taking a sabbatical and going to lock up in the room, I think Abdul did it. Abdul is the one that said it. That was something that he was really strongly considering.
Mm.
In order to get it built the right way, he has to walk away. But it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's a wise man.
He won't make a wrong decision.
He's not someone that's going to do it foolishly.
No.
No, but then that's when you activate that Dave Ramsey strategy of building up an emergency fund so big that when you do walk away, it's like, oh, I have 3-4 years of, not that you need that, of expenses already saved up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it gives you time to not even worry about money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Gives you a big cushion for mistakes
yeah, exactly.
because they will happen.
Mm-hmm. You're right about that. Well, it's part of moving to success.
Yeah.
I definitely am. I'm becoming a believer of that. I know it's after 7 o'clock, so you guys have to go. I'm becoming a believer of you have to make a lot of mistakes or almost fail at something for it to be successful.
Oh,
I've
God,
seen
yeah.
it in every book that we've read.
Yeah, that seems to be a pattern.
And that's life, because we don't come with a tag saying this person is going to be this and this is the instruction manual. And when you find a person making a mistake, you're like, you didn't read page 6 of the instruction manual. Well, there isn't one. It's called making mistakes. Up, I shouldn't have did that right. Let me move on this one, and I want to stay on this one till boom, and then hit a brick wall again. That's what life is.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But some people are afraid to hit that brick wall. So the dog is like,
Lucky is definitely against that. He does not
What's
like
that? Who's reversing? What's the backing up noise? The beep, beep, beep.
I don't know. I'm in the living room right now, so I have nothing backing up right now.
After you move?
Well, I think it's
No.
time to move forward to breakfast.
Oh, move forward. No, Yolanda. Me and the buyer just agreed on something, and then we just got to that point. So now, I signed the paperwork on that, and then the other home, whatever, we got a close date of November 28th.
Okay.
So that's what's going on at the moment.
So you ended up finding a home in Deadwood?
Yeah, well, we bought the duplex. It's so we live on one side and then someone else live on the other side of the apartment.
That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd be living for free, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And as I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, that's probably the best way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that first house that fell through, and then we found another one, which is a newer one. And that's what we're working on now.
And how's your Airbnb going?
Oh, good. Actually, it was just rented out this past week. Actually, I think my wife has said that we come upon the 10 review mark here pretty soon, and then you become another higher level of an Airbnb customer once you hit the 10 review mark.
Great.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's very awesome.
Maybe we'll stay there and give a good review.
Yep.
Pat says we can go over there and give a good review.
There you go. Yeah. So far, all the reviews have been good.
That's great.
It looks beautiful.
I'll tell you what, it takes
Okay.
time, but things work out, you know?
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Just takes
Little
time,
by
that's all.
Little
All
by
right.
little.
Hi, guys. Have a good day.
Have a great day, Yolanda.
All right. Take care.
You guys have a blessed day.
Hey, thank you, Sean. Really appreciate all you did.
Yeah, I agree, Sean. Thanks for
Maybe
that.
I was just a substitute teacher and played a video that I hacked, so that's all that was. All right.
That was good. Thank you.
All right. You guys have a good
All right, brother. Have a good day.
All
See you, Abdul.
right, take care.